Hello and welcome to another video and podcast from fantasyfootballscout.co.uk. Today I'm joined by Neale to discuss the latest injury and lineup news from this week's press conferences. Neale, welcome. How are you?
Very good, thanks, Joe. Yeah, not too bad. I'm hoping that the sound's a bit better for people on YouTube this week because it's been a bit tinny in the room I've been doing it in. So I've reverted back to my original home for these videos. So hopefully it sounds a bit better.
Okay, so we're fully insulated, all wrapped up and ready for some team news. We're going to have to start with Man City this time. So due to the injury reported earlier this week to Kevin De Bruyne, has there been any update from Pep on his fitness ahead of the Wolves visit to the Etihad and potentially beyond that as well?
Yeah, he's out. He's out this weekend, which I think a lot of us were thinking it would happen. And Pep's confirmed it, which is handy in a way because I half expected him to just say, "Oh well, we've got training this afternoon, and we'll have to see." But at least he's given us a definitive answer. He's out of game week 8, as is John Stones, but he's expecting both of them back after the international break. So hopefully, if you're holding on to him, and I know a lot of people have got value tied up in him, then he sounds like he's a possibility for game week 9, which is immediately after this October hiatus, which is probably coming at a good time, really, because it gives him best part of 3 weeks to recover from last Saturday. Sounds like it's not a big problem, so he should be back after the national break.
So it sounds like he's probably going to get a bit of a price drop, but not too bad. Probably, yeah. I'm a De Bruyne owner. Looking at my red flag, I'm like many. I'm thinking, oh, shall I swap him? And I just think I'm just going to want him back in game week 9. So it could be time for the bench. Okay, speaking of bench, now there's been some rumours going around about Todd Cantwell for Norwich. Very cheap midfielder. A lot of people are looking to field him this week, or at least hoping to use him in De Bruyne's absence. So, yeah, what news has there been from the Norwich camp, particularly about Cantwell, and whether he's going to be supplying a great captaincy shout this week in Pookie? So, yeah, what from Norwich?
Yeah, we've come full circle on this rumour because it emerged, was it yesterday, I think, from somebody on Twitter who isn't someone I've come across before. He said that Cantwell had withdrawn from training because of a hamstring problem. Now, he then got named in the England under-21 squad, so we thought all's fine. But we've just had Daniel Farke's press conference, and he's acknowledged the fact that it is an issue. He says that he's had some hamstring problems, or there's a question mark over it anyway. However, he has trained and he's hopeful of him being available for tomorrow. So just a 75 flag, which is sounds about right. And it's a minor doubt. And the fact that he has been named in that England under-21 squad is perhaps a good sign. But they're going to run a late test on him. We won't have any more information, I doubt, before the deadline. So I think you probably keep him and hope for the best because it sounds like a minor problem. And you know, with the other injuries we've got this week with De Bruyne being out and things like that, then I think he'd probably either play or he won't. Cantwell. So yeah, sounds like a minor issue.
It's a minor issue. It's not dumpable, but at the same time, you better have a deep bench for this one because if you've got De Bruyne and you don't want to remove him, he's on the bench. You're going to have to move someone in. Cantwell, we hope is going to play, but if not, you're going to have a really good first sub there to come in. Yeah, that's gonna ask a lot of questions of people. I know in particular, I know we're going to team news, but I just think we were talking about on air and a potential replacement for those that are just too jittery about Cantwell. I think that Saka at Arsenal, I saw the game against Manchester United. He looked great actually. Arsenal, don't look great as a team at the moment in the league, but some of their players, and Saka looks like a really good replacement. Anyway, I just wanted to put that in because it's the kind of thing people think about when they watch team news videos. Let's move on to Manchester United. They've been having their fair share of injuries as well, not in the best form as well. So what news from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer ahead of their visit to Newcastle?
It doesn't sound too good. So the clutch of players that were unavailable for either Arsenal or AZ on Thursday. Solskjaer said last night after the Alkmaar game that they probably won't recover for Sunday's trip to Newcastle, but he is going to make a late check on Saturday. Now, as I've written on the team news, he's hoodwinked us before with Rashford. He said he was a major doubt for Monday. Lo and behold, he starts against Arsenal. But yeah, Pogba's the latest addition. He did play against Arsenal, but he's got this recurring ankle problem, and he was hinting that he wouldn't start him in game week 8. So he says that there's this international break coming up. It gives us 10, 14 days extra to be ready for Liverpool in game week 9. So I think he was hinting that he won't play. Martial and Shaw, he's previously said this week that this game will probably come too soon for them. Wan-Bissaka's got tonsillitis. Now, whether he was included in that nameless roundup from Solskjaer talking about his injuries remains to be seen, but a doubt still. And the fact that he wasn't named in the England squad, maybe that's a pointer in itself. So yeah, injury hit, but that does probably mean if you're on a Rashford or James or someone like that, then they're going to start giving the dearth of options up front. But yeah, obviously already without Jones and Bailly, so down to the bare bones.
Okay, down to the bare bones, and they're not throwing us any bones as football managers. There's not much to look at, but interesting because there's people like myself with Greenwood, and there's those with say Rashford, maybe Pogba as well. Declining as a fantasy asset steadily this season, but yeah, some interesting news, some decisions to be made there. What about Spurs as well? So they're a right back down. Who might be playing there? But also, I understand they've been talking about Dele Alli himself, not a fancy asset, but his availability does impact on the rest of the team and how it looks, and whether Harry Kane's going to be deep and all those types of issues there. So yeah, what news from the Spurs camp ahead of their visit to Brighton?
Yeah, not too bad on the injury front anyway, so it's the same two as last week, Lo Celso and Sessegnon. Aurier is obviously suspended, as you said there. And yeah, who replaces him? Well, they've had Davinson Sanchez as their right back this season, which was a failed experiment, let's be honest. One Fight is fit again, Walker Peters too, so they're the obvious ones. But Pochettino, speaking this afternoon, said that Sissoko played very well there against Southampton last weekend when Aurier was sent off. And his quote was, that made me think a little bit that his option is bigger than maybe another player. So that's maybe a pointer that he's going to play in there again. He has played there before, infrequently for Spurs. But that's a damning indictment if you're Kyle Walker-Peters. I mean, One Fight slightly different. He's just back from injury, so maybe he's not match fit enough. But if he's willing to play Sissoko there, right back, over Walker-Peters, again, he might have been pulling the rug from under our feet, but we obviously have to go on his quotes that he said today. So
it's quite recently, his quotes have been, I mean, I'm going to say they've been a little depressing, really. All is not well, something about the dressing room, something not excellent, something, and it just goes on. And the performances on the pitch are erratic. They can look great one minute and awful the next. Oh, I don't know. The Dele Alli quotes I find strange actually as well. Just typical Pochettino at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, Ali, there's no denying he's out of touch. I mean, he's just back from, I think it was a hamstring problem. They're weaning him gradually into first team football. But yeah, hasn't really pulled up many trades, has he, in the games he has played? Been mostly in Europe that he's started, and I'll be amazed if he starts again this weekend because of that hamstring problem. So he's not injured, he's fit, but Pochettino acknowledging the bad form today, really, saying that he needs time to recover his best performance, and we're going to help him along the way. But so, yeah, I think we saw Eriksen and Lamela and Lucas Moura rested on Tuesday night, I think it was, or Wednesday against Bayern for that 7-2 humping. And yeah, Pochettino said today that there may be going to be changes. So the players who've played twice already this week, Saturday and Tuesday, obviously they had a man disadvantage against Southampton for an hour. And he's dropped a bomb there, which I don't think's really been picked up in the fantasy community yet. I did tweet it about it when it came out, but I'll find the quote here for you. Just a second. He says, some players have played 2 games. It was a tough game playing on 1 hour with 10 men. Maybe some players are going to rest for tomorrow. So the players that have played twice are Kane, which I don't think he's going to be dropped. And Ndombele, Winks, and Son Heung-min as well, whose son's played twice. in the last week. He did get substituted against Southampton, so that's maybe in his favour. But yeah, a little bit of worry that you didn't need if you're a Son owner.
It's a worry as well because he's conveniently similarly priced to De Bruyne, who is out. So this one actually, I just wanted to note in our live chat that we've been that's been talking about. Tim Shannon has just been on to say that he's just been to pick up his son. Sorry he's late, and what's happening with De Bruyne. So I'm just going to put the image up, and here's the quote. So there we go, Tim. Just for you, just a quick recap. De Bruyne is out this weekend. So yeah, let's move on. All not well at Spurs. All sounds great at Chelsea though. Fans are loving what they're doing with all the young guns coming through. Got some old stagers there as well. Well, some people who are over the age of 12 so that's quite good as well. So yeah, but what's Lampard been saying about Chelsea's state as they prepare for Southampton?
Not a great deal. It was a very, very brief press conference today. I think it was only about 7 minutes in length. Probably the headline was about Kante, which I know he's not a big FPL asset, but obviously his availability affects midfield places and that, given the wealth of options they've got. And he says that he's over his injury, but they're going to monitor him over the next 24, 48 hours to make sure he's okay, because he hasn't played much yet. He didn't have much of a pre-season, so he might not be risked. But yeah, other than that, he was talking about Tomori's call-up and Jorginho is his vice-captain. But precious little news on the injury front. One of my pet peeves when I'm watching these press conferences is when a reporter asks about a specific player rather than like an overall team news update. So we've only heard about Kante. So as far as we know, there might be others, but none of them have been disclosed. We do know that Emerson's out until after the international break, but yeah, that's about your lot from Chelsea.
Okay, and let's move on to Liverpool as well. I'm hoping not much of interest there, as in all the key players that we all know and love, like Salah and Mane and Firmino, all fit and raring to go. But yeah, what has Klopp been saying ahead of Leicester's visit?
Well, interesting news in the defence anyway. So Matip, who's the cut price route into the Liverpool defence, he's out for game week 8. Wow. He missed the midweek humdinger against Salzburg. So it sounds like Gomez will be playing again at centre half. Matip should be back after the international break, so it's a short-term thing. Now, Alisson is potentially in line for a return this weekend as well. It still might be too soon, but Klopp said that he's trained with the team as of yesterday and has been training in goalkeeping sessions for the last 10 days. So, yeah, he could be back. I'll find the exact quote. Yeah, so a report asked him, is it different with goalkeepers that sort of rushing them back, as it were, without much training? He says, yes, it is. The good thing is that Adrian's performance means we don't feel pressured to do that. But he stressed the fact that he has been training for 10 days and his quote was, it looked really good. So we will see. So if he's not back for game week 8, then he'll almost certainly be back for game week 9. And as competently as Adrian's performed, there's no question that Alisson's going to get his place back pretty much straight away. So,
yeah, I mean, it's a difference between a professional goalkeeper and me and my cat. Yeah. So that's basically what it is. It's sort of like we would just hand the ball to Danny Ings or something like that. Whereas on the other hand, you got a professional goalkeeper.
He's 5.8 now. I've just realised that. That's a tempting price, isn't it, for Alisson, for a route into the Liverpool defence?
A tease even.
Yeah.
Before we move on to Leicester, who they face, anything else from Liverpool?
No, just Shaqiri's out. He's out after the international break.
Well. Now Leicester. Last week, Maddison was out. Potentially a great player. If anyone's going to unlock the Liverpool back line, it could be Maddison. Any news on him being back?
Yeah, he is. So better news there for the Maddison owners. He's fine. He's trained the last couple of days, and Rodgers has pretty much given him the all clear yesterday in his press conference, and said that he's fine. So that sounds good.
All good there. I just want to move on to some of the other teams as well. So we've got Bournemouth. They travel to Arsenal. I understand that Eddie Howe has been talking about Rico, and I'll highlight him because Rico I have been seeing in an increasing number of teams, especially on the bench, especially in a week where suddenly red flags are appearing. So, what has Howe been saying about Rico?
we've been preaching a bit of caution, haven't we? Because Lloyd Kelly's back now, and he was the summer signing who we probably expect to take over at left back in the long term. And the fact that Howe hasn't really favoured Rico in the past. But been singing his praises today in the press conference. He started the last 3, assisted 2 in that time. Howe said he's growing into the position, he's growing in confidence all the time. And challenges for him to maintain that progression. So, highlighting the fact that he's been important at corners and free kicks. I put something in the big number yesterday. Bournemouth's, I think it's something like 40% of their chances this season have come from set plays. So they're really relying on corner kick deliveries and things like that. So with Fraser being a bit of a bit part player at the moment, Rico's become quite important. So again, obviously a medium-term risk with Kelly being back, but for the moment, with Bournemouth on an unbeaten run, doesn't seem to be any reason for how to change it, and it sounds very positive based on comments today.
I've got my eye on him. I've also got my eye on Josh King as well. I just want to check, was Josh King mentioned at all in Eddie Howe's press conference? I'm hoping no mention is a good thing.
No, well, we've learned the hard way not to trust him. Okay. He said this morning that apart from the long-term injuries like the Smith, Daniels, Gosling, people like that, we're all looking good. Now, an hour later, Mepham's ruled out of the Wales squad with a calf problem. That might have just happened. Just give him the benefit of the doubt. I've seen a story on the Scottish Sun. Now, that's obviously a big asterisk there because that's the
that's
only
an oxymoron,
story.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
The Sun newspaper in Scotland. Anyway, look, carry on.
I think they're more left-leaning up there, aren't they? I think they're more SNP favouring. But apparently Harry Wilson was in a training ground collision as well with Artur Boruc. Now, I've not seen this. I should stress I've not seen this reported anywhere else as yet. There'll be another section of Howe's presser released from embargo about 10:30 tonight, so I'll have a look then. So something might come out later on that. So he doesn't always tell us about the injuries.
Okay.
So we know Mepham's injured, for example, and he wasn't disclosed this morning. So we'll see if anything comes out later on tonight.
And Fraser's still out of the squad. Still out of the first 11, I should say.
Yeah, he was ill last weekend, so you would expect him to recover, given that it was illness. But he's no guarantee to get his place back. Obviously, if Wilson's out, that does open up a space for him because he has played on the right before. And depending on the shape and system of how he uses it in a away match at the Emirates, he could get a recall. But he's not started any of the last 3, I think, since the September international break, with King playing down that left flank. So
people might be wondering why we're talking about Bournemouth at all, because they're playing Arsenal, not on paper a favourable fixture. Just remind everyone that Arsenal's defence is awful, and also Bournemouth play Norwich and Watford next.
Yeah.
Okay. Could be some transfer activity there. Let's move on to some others. West Ham face Crystal Palace. Now, West Ham are still without Fabianski, is that right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's going to be out for probably at least 3 months. So with or without surgery, which they're going to make a decision on today, I think, on this hip problem. Pellegrini said yesterday that in either scenario, it's going to be difficult for him to be back in less than 3 months. It looks like Roberto in goal for now, anyway, because a reporter asked him, would he go for like a free agent? For example, I think Vaughan was mentioned as the Spurs former Spurs keeper, was released in the summer, and Pellegrini didn't really bat away convincingly. He said that Roberto was a goalkeeper I trust a lot, but he did say that we're going to decide for certain after we know how long Fabianski's out. So I wouldn't be shocked to see him move for like a free agent.
I love it if he gave a politician's answer. Roberto is a goalkeeper, just left it at that. Now what's interesting in the Palace side, so let's turn to Palace now. I'm right in thinking Milivojevic is suspended for this one.
Yes. Yep.
Who may take penalties, and if there is a penalty, whoever takes it is going to be against this guy Roberto. So now I'm not, if it's Jordan Ayew, for example, that's really going to present a challenge and a tease for fancy managers. But what shape of Palace are in, and who's on penalties?
It's a good point, because Benteke is generally the number 2, although he isn't really convinced from 12 yards in the past, but he's been out of the team. He's really struggling for confidence. And Townsend's taken a couple before. I think he took one in the cup last season. I'll double check that. We've listed them in order on our set pieces tab online, and we don't just put them together willy-nilly. It is researched. I think Townsend took one last season, hence why he's number 3. But yes, I've seen that Jordan Ayew's got quite a good record from penalties. I'm sure I saw someone saying a 9 from his last 9 he scored.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, obviously with Zaha on the team, Palace have been winning a lot of them. So yeah, we could find out something. Obviously, it's a 1 week thing because as soon as Milivojevic is back, then he's number 1 from spot kicks. So yeah, but he is suspended this weekend. So we might see Townsend come in, who's been a substitute past few weeks. Yeah,
and it's the first time I perhaps ever have and ever will recommend people get Jordan Ayew in.
He's not a bad. If you got a bit extra money to spare and you want a third budget forward, then he's not a bad option because he's the cheapest starting striker.
There's two endorsements there. Let's move on to some others then. Who we left down the list? Let's go for Wolves. What news of Wolves as they prepare to face City?
Yeah, well, they were in Europa League action last night, and the press conference. The Game Week 8 press conference part of that interview will be embargo. There's the E word again. So later, I'll let you know as soon as that happens. But I do know that Diogo Jota, who wasn't in the squad either last weekend or this Thursday for the European match, is a doubt. And Santo's been a bit cagey on whether he's going to be back this weekend or not. So I suspect he's going to remain a doubt. I don't think we'll get anything definitive on the matter. But the way he was talking, it didn't sound great. But as soon as those quotes become available, I'll let you know for certain. Although I do suspect we won't get a clear-cut answer from Santo. So I think that the flag will remain on him this weekend.
Okay, Brighton facing Spurs. Is Trossard back yet, for example?
No, but he's not far off. And it's going to be, again, the other side of the international break. Same with Duffy as well. They've still got a few other players out, like Bernardo and Izquierdo, who's not going to interest the fantasy community whatsoever. But Solly March is back anyway, so he could play. Yeah.
Rightio. Burnley, Everton as well. I know a few with Barnes, Wood, for example. Chris Wood is in your team.
He is.
People like me with Luca Dean still in their Everton team. A few options there. Any news on any of those assets on either side?
All good on the fitness front for those front assets anyway. But Jack Cork, referred to as Corky in Dyche's press conference, he just adds a Y on every player's name. Is a doubt with a shoulder injury. It sounds like he's going to miss out. Now, Hendrick is an option, obviously, to play in the centre, but he was asked about going to a 4-3-3 with Rodriguez coming in alongside Barnes and Wood. Now, we did actually see that last weekend against, who were they playing? They came back and drew Villa. It was Villa, wasn't it?
Rodriguez always looks good when he comes on, doesn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, and Dyche has said that he's capable of playing wide. He said that Barnes has played wide before, I think more at Brighton than Burnley. So obviously it would be Wood as the central figure. If that was a 3, if that did happen, with McNeil playing more centrally alongside Westwood and Hendrick. But I suspect that he'll play 4-4-2 again, as he always does, and change it if they're behind or something like that.
Yeah, he's a fantastic Dullard manager for us, but with a croaky voice and likes hard work in training. Let's move down the list. Everton, nothing much there, I understand. Yeah. So Villa, how are they shaping up as they go to Norwich?
Not too bad, I think. I think they've just got Jonathan Kodjia out and James Chester. Now, Wesley, he's still in a few teams I've seen around because he's quite cheap. He was in my team at the start of the season, but I swiftly moved him on because he's very much the destitute man's Sebastian Haller, I think, in terms of like a lone target man.
God, that's pretty low.
Yeah, well, he said that he said himself that the performance last weekend was poor, but he's seen a reaction from him this week. Now there was speculation that Keenan Davis, who's a 4.5 million midfielder in FPL, I think he's been, again, a bit like Lundstrom. I think that the classification hasn't been accurate there, but he is basically Wesley's deputy at the moment. And Dean Smith did say that he's ready to start. But I think the fact that he did stress that he's seen a reaction from Wesley and he wants to go out and prove that everyone's wrong, all the critics. I think that means he's probably going to start again this weekend.
Okay.
The other thing to notice, was that Smith was hailing John McGinn, saying that he could have had 6 or 7 goals this season. So he's looking like a great option, isn't he, McGinn, in that sub 6 million bracket?
I mean, for me, for Villa, it's John McGinn or bust.
Very much so.
It's just him.
Watford
against Sheffield United, some options there, and of course our favourite John Lundstram. We hope he's fit. He's no mention of him in the press conference. I didn't see anyway. So,
nah.
Yeah. Any other news there from Watford or Sheffield United?
No, I'm a Goldrick out for Sheffield United. Watford, Deeney's still out, and I think apart from that, it's pretty as you were, really. Yeah.
Okay, we got Southampton taking on Chelsea. Any news there from Ralph Hussenthal?
Yeah, Cedric's out, along with Musa Gineppo as well, who's been out for a week. He's been struggling with his muscle problem. Again, another one who's looked quite good, actually. I've got my eye on him long term. But those are the 2 players that got missing this weekend.
Okay, and finally, Newcastle. Now, I elevated them last week out of... it wasn't because of pity, because some ne'er-do-well had hacked into your team. But you're back. But anyway... there was a treat for you there. Newcastle are up. But anyway, back to normal now. Yeah, Newcastle at the end. What's Steve Bruce got to say about his sorrowful troops?
They're like the page 1 to 4 story on CFAX, aren't they? They're just the joke story at the end of the end of the news.
Yeah.
Well, they're looking better on the injury front slightly because they've got Dwight Gale, who I haven't seen in years. He was on loan last season, but he might be back.
Yeah.
John Joe Shelby's back as well. Jetro Williams sounds like he's back as well. Isaac Hayden is banned, which is bad news for us because he's apart from that tackle last weekend, he's one of our better performers. He's the sort of defensive linchpin in the central midfield. So it's good news for Man United, who need all the help they can get at the moment in terms of scoring goals. So Bruce was. I wish we had Dyche.
Mm-hmm.
Bruce was talking about possibility of Matthew Longstaff, who's brother of Sean, potentially coming in to play in defensive midfield. But apart from that, St. Maximum's fit starts, so he may get a problem.
I mean, there is an interest there. I'm not just joking about them being last in the roll call, but there is an interest there in terms of Manchester United as well, because Manchester United are looking woeful. It just depends, are they in a shape potentially to actually beat Manchester United, which is entirely possible. So let's give them some credit there. It's been a hectic one. There's been loads of news and the crucial De Bruyne news at the start as well. If you came in late, we did give an update in the middle, but go back and have a look at the start of the video or the podcast, and you'll find out all the De Bruyne news there. For now, Neil, good luck with the game week, and it's a goodbye from me.
Yeah, just one other thing before
one
boys.
more. Okay.
We didn't cover Arsenal, but that's only because Emery hasn't had his press conference yet. Lacazette's still out as far as we know, but I'll update you on the site if I see anything in the next few hours, and we'll have a 5:00 roundup in our article form as well. So.
That's good. It was like a PS at the end of the letter. Oh, just before I go, So
I've got no news.
I've got no news.
I've got nothing.
Do look out for the lack of news, but also look out for it becoming perhaps news later on. Always being updated, and that is just a good message there. Just keep updated with all the team news. The team news page on Fantasy Football Scout.
Yep.
Loads of info there. But for now, Neil, good luck with the game week and goodbye.
Yep. See you next week. Bye bye.